Hello, everyone, and welcome to my birthday pick for 2020.
We had a good
this
streak for 2 years straight with Hercules and Emperor's New Groove. What is this?
this is the Queen's Corgi. I
Oh
wouldn't be
boy.
surprised if most of you have not heard of this, and I don't mean you guys. I mean the audience.
Yeah.
A British movie about a
Maybe
British movie about a
Belgium.
dog. This
No,
explains it.
Pedro. Actually, it's a Belgian movie about a British dog.
So a
And not
Belgian
even a-
movie
not
taking
even
place
a-
in Britain.
And not even a proper
British
British one, because corgis are by name stated, in terms of taken from Wales.
Yes,
proper
they
British
are.
called
There is
Welsh
a breed
Corgi.
of English Corgi, I think, but typically they are Welsh. Yes.
But yeah,
Hold on. So you're telling me that the Belgians can actually make a CGI animated film?
Well, that's up to you to decide.
Then where the hell is my proper Asterix Secret of the Magic Potion equivalent from Belgium instead of the shitty Spielberg movie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ugh.
All
I don't know
right
what to tell
then.
you, but yeah.
So
this
anyway,
is
folks,
a movie about the Queen's dogs, I guess.
Now, hopefully, you're watching the superior American dub because that's definitely the better of the
British
two.
characters should have British voice acting.
Well, I don't know, Shiroi.
Yes.
Sometimes American characters can do a better British accent.
How
than the
about an
British.
actual fucking mix?
You ruined
So,
the magic roundabout, so I have a hard time believing.
Whatever. The
Oh,
important
anyway.
the important thing is for the logos which to start because Shea using an Netflix copy, which is the British dubbed version, while me, Pen and Jova are using the proper American Blu-ray, which has a separate different set of logos. So basically, to make things as easy as possible. We're starting before which specific logo, Dweebs? Forgot the name already.
The Charade's logo.
Sure.
The Charade's logo.
Yeah, that's what
sure.
this film's gonna feel like, innit? A charade.
Charade.
This
All
also
right.
means that we'll be commentating on both dubs at the same time. We'll be
Yeah,
able to
no,
talk
no.
about both of them.
Oh, no. It says, hang on, American British thing. Since we're on that subject, I should be saying charades.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, we're going. But this is kind of unheard of, guys. We're going to be commentating on both dubs at the same time.
It's just
Wow.
like a
Aren't you
Nintendo
lucky?
Direct.
It's just like
There's
our.
no difference between the two movies.
It's just
thankfully.
like our old days when we used to play the American and European Nintendo Direct side by side back in 2015.
I know what a mess those were.
All right, Shiroi, just take us away, and hopefully we'll still be in sync.
All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Let us hope that Europe's occasional passion for god-awful frame rates does not affect this.
Let me ask the included question: what actually is the Queen's obsession with having corgis as a specific type of pet?
I don't know, but they're cute, so.
I know, but corgis are more.
Well, there you go, Theo. That's probably her logic as well.
She needs proper subjects even for pets.
Starring
I know-
Jack
I know-
Whitehall.
I know that corgis are equally cute and dumb, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Jack
these are-
Whitehall and Ray Winston.
Yeah.
did I
it's-
actually got?
Oh, no. Okay, Tia, here's the thing. It's one of those movies that, while we do have dubs, they don't really change, the actual names of the credits here and there.
That's the problem. That's a problem, Joe. But the title that scrolled to us was the Italian version, so I don't even know.
It's the same with Harry Potter. It's like some things were dubbed, so.
It reminds me of when I watch. That's adorable.
Aww.
I don't know. I've seen more adorable dogs in CGI films, to be honest.
I
This
like
is just This is just standard adorable. It's not
Typical
even.
dog.
It's not even like much that adorable. It's just standard.
Tonight on
mean it's not
SCWRM, we
hideous?
judge levels of adorable in CGI.
Well,
Um,
Java so far, it's the only thing I can commentate on.
Well, Pedro, according to the internet, all dogs are beautiful, including that one abomination.
The demonic Chihuahua.
No,
Let's talk about the dog from Final Fantasy
13.
13
Oh, of course.
of Lightning Returns.
No,
They're
that's
all
not.
they're all good boys.
That's not a dog.
Oh.
That's an abomination of mankind.
Aw, good boy.
Yes, we have dogs do that. Yes, thank you. Also,
Yeah,
we need
no.
dogs for some reason. Like,
Oop.
Okay, is the plot going to be
Really,
Prince...
a reference to
Okay.
that?
Okay. Is the plot going to be Prince Philip gets so jealous of the Queen's love for the dog that he's going to go crazy?
No,
A killing
Really?
spree.
Really? The plot of the fucking Aristocats?
I was
Really?
about to say, don't worry, Dwibs, this is not the
No,
Aristocats.
that's not where they're going.
That's one of the most forgettable Disney movies ever.
Oh, I thought you liked Aristocats.
It also, well, it also had
I
a.
prefer Rescuers, to be honest.
It also had a. Oh, sorry, go on.
When it comes to Disney movies at that time, I much prefer The Rescuers. That's a much better movie, if you ask me.
Also, keep in mind, Jova, it had some weird localizations, especially in my country.
Huh.
Oh. Being the steward of the Queen is suffering.
So is this all the movie is?
No.
Well, it's only taking things, on its pace. For the intro. Jesus Christ.
Well, I will give it credit. At the very least, they're going for a full. They're just going for a full visual intro, right?
Yeah.
Relying entirely on the visuals.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a lesser filmmaker would just have a narration over this,
Oh,
but no, they're
God.
actually allowing the visuals to talk over it.
About the visuals.
He clearly doesn't get paid enough for this.
So this is already better than I'm Not Shyamalan. So there's that.
That says a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me check who did the music for this.
Actually, yeah, let me check the actual movie production
so
team.
far sounds fine. Not great, but
Okay.
fine.
The music was done by one Ramin Djawadi.
Wait, Ramin Djawadi did the music for this?
Where have I
Yeah.
heard that name?
I heard
before?
that.
Ramin
before.
Djawadi is the composer for the first Iron Man, I think that's, isn't he?
Iron Man
Or-
1, Pacific
Yeah,
Rim,
and
Person of
he's-
Interest.
Yeah, he did the music for the Person of Interest TV series.
Huh.
So and he also did the music for Gears 5, which was not one of his best works.
Good to know.
Oh, dear.
What score? Sorry, Pedro.
Gears,
Gears
5.
And I think he also did 4. Let me check.
Yeah.
2 directors and 2 writers.
Well, I mean, to be fair, animation typically does have more than one director.
Alright. That was just for the intro, Pedro, because now we are about to have the catalyst of the movie.
Okay.
The reason this movie was made, some might say.
Keep in mind, this movie was made in
ER?
2019.
Hey, Jova, YouTube's ER is apparently in this somewhere. Right?
Oh, cheeky! Very cheeky.
Well, okay. To be fair, they at least altered the name, so they're trying to be cheeky.
I know,
with it
I
at least.
actually like the
Oh,
that
yeah,
joke.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a funny joke.
I'll say one thing, this movie doesn't have a bad first act. All things
yeah,
considered.
Yeah, there you go. Just check. Yes. Ramin Djawadi also did Gears 4. God damn, like you.
Wow, didn't know Jack Whitehall could sound so posh.
Huh.
The one on our end is just a generic American voice actor. Like
Leo
he sounds
Barcata.
he sounds so as standard as the character.
Hmm.
Let me check what else he's
Well, for
done.
context, Jack Whitehall is a comedian around here.
And he's going to be in the upcoming Clifford the Big Red Dog movie.
Wow, Leo Barcata is only known for this role, apparently. Yeah, back my day and all.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, and by all means, you moron, tell us exactly what is it about being a top dog in this place? Because all dogs in here just lays about and don't do anything. What
No,
exactly
no.
is more-
They do dog things.
Pedro, it's about doing it with prestige.
Yeah, he just told you.
Wait, selfless acts of courage? Okay, never mind, Jova. He just contradicted you. Selfless acts of courage? I never saw you do any selfless acts of courage.
Oh.
Yeah. I saw this joke coming a million miles away.
Also, Pedro, selfless acts of courage do fall under prestige and doing stuff of that.
You know, I get the feeling this guy's just incredibly pretentious and obnoxious.
Well, he's British.
Well, not on our dub, Jova.
No. The old one definitely sounds British.
It doesn't even look that old.
I'm
Oh,
crying.
I get it. Let me guess. This is gonna be one of those lesson in humility type stories.
Yep.
Shiroi, should I tell him?
Well, there's the movie, Joe. He's about to see.
Well,
No,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, let him watch
Oh
the
boy.
movie.
Well, I'm not
Oh,
talking
boy.
about
I wonder
that.
who this person that's coming could be.
Oh
It
boy.
out of all people, it could be literally anyone.
Anyway, oh boy, I can't wait to hear John Coleshaw's
Wait,
take
you mean
on
you,
Donald
you
Trump.
mean
The
you mean
references are going to be very subtle, I'm very sure.
wait, I don't tell you. Do you mean the villain or?
No, the person from America who's arriving, Pedro.
Oh, the person. Oh, okay. Okay.
So anyway, in case
We
you
almost
don't.
had a title drop.
So anyway,
Whoa.
in our dub, the British one, Donald Trump is voiced by famed impressionist here in Britain, John Coleshaw.
Is Donald Trump playing himself in the American dub?
Nope, it's Kirk Thornton, Pedro.
Um,
okay.
Matton.
when you see what they do, I'd be very shocked if he played himself.
Well, I can see Kirk Thornton actually doing a really good impression of him. That actually does sound like a good choice in Fury. Let's see what
Not
he
the
does.
roast chicken.
Let's just say Kirk Thornton is part of the reasons why the American dub is the definitive dub.
Why couldn't it have been more a mix? Like the American character is voiced by an American voice actor and the other is
Yeah,
British.
if anything, the English.
Oh boy, here we go.
Wow, they're not even trying to hide it, are they? If anything, the English dub of this should have been a British-American collaboration.
Melania's, by the way, for the American dub is voiced by Millie Mapp. For the UK
And in the
dub, by
British,
Deborah Stephenson.
Deborah Stevenson.
But yeah, surprisingly enough, Pedro, they don't really go too much with the satire that you may think about it, because Mr. Trump is here in visit for a specific reason that doesn't really involve, his usual stick.
Well, I'm kind of doubtful that this movie is all that clever for political commentary. So yeah.
Oh!
Certainly better than a lot of American comedians that thinks are so clever by doing Trump satire. Just saying.
Our voice does a pretty good impression.
There you
of
go.
Trump.
The true reason. Inbreeding. Basically, Trump thinks that using his female corgi in order to be in a relationship with one of the male British corgi, it will help create, a proper hair and strengthen the diplomacy between the two countries. It's a sort of a also Jesus Christ. It's a sort of a parallel to how in medieval Europe, royal families tended to have their kids breed between each other in order to strengthen their bond, even though it
But
led
this
to a
time
lot
it's
of
with their
fucking
dogs.
diseases.
Trump, you are aware that we're not in the Middle Ages anymore. We don't unite countries with marriages.
No, Pedro. We're not uniting them with marriage. We're literally uniting them with mating. There's a difference here.
There's no marriage involved. It's just mating.
Okay, it's dogs. So okay, but this. I'm sorry. This premise is incredibly ridiculous to me. They're dogs. They're not royals or presidents or what?
Oh, I should probably mention
Yes,
Trump.
Wibbs.
Anyway, the Charlie dog in Hit Round Here is voiced by Matt Lucas, another famous British comedian.
Yeah, Matt. I actually know Matt Lucas. Yes.
For the American, that is voiced by Dino Arande. Whatever it's pronounced.
Dwebs, I'm actually quite surprised that the cast of Allo Allo never went on to voice anything in animated films because they're so talented. Especially the guy who plays the British cop.
Also, about what you were saying earlier, Pedro, let's just say with the dog and her owner, the apple doesn't fall through too far from the tree at all.
Shiroi.
Oh, hold on. So the Queen is gonna marry Donald Trump?
No. You'll see now.
Well, it's a proxy by using their dogs. They're doing that kind of metaphor. So take that for what you want.
So far, I don't really understand what the hell this movie is trying to accomplish.
So, Shiroi,
Yes.
you're watching the British version too, right?
Yes.
What do you make of John Coleshaw's Trump?
It's pretty good.
You know, the last time I saw something like this, it was in a dog porn website. Like, I don't...
Why did I have to watch
Well,
it?
why?
The guys from Battle Road showed a clip of it.
Oof.
Wow, this dog is horny as shit.
Yeah, this dog is
She's
basically
thirsty.
a sexual harasser.
Anyway,
No, remember, Shiroi, it's a dog, therefore it doesn't count.
Mitzi round here is voiced by Sarah Hadland.
Honestly, Shiroi, if we're gonna count something, animals doing something like this as sexual harassment, then animals have been sexual harassing each other since the beginning of time.
That wasn't what
the-
I was getting at, Pedro.
Yeah, exactly. For the American dub, she's played by Madison Brown.
Huh.
Interesting
Apparently,
casting that this.
I think
movie
she's
has on both
Australian.
those.
So you're having an American Corgi voiced by an Australian actress.
Oh, Sarah Hadland was in Horrible Histories.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
What exactly is Trump? What exactly will Trump gain from this? Like, what exactly is there to gain from this?
Good publicity for both countries.
There are better and easier ways to get this, though. Like,
Wait. Are you implying that politicians wouldn't come up with cockamania schemes for some good political reputation?
okay, as a politician, ever suggests that
Oh,
two
God.
dogs mate for good publicity?
Pedro. Politicians have suggested way worse. Just look at Sarah Palin.
I agree.
I guess, but it's not so much in terms of
Pedro,
worseness.
Pedro, this is tame compared to the
no,
certain
I'm
lanes
not-
politicians will go towards.
No, I'm not saying in terms of what's worse. I'm talking about
Jesus.
ridiculousness. Like I'm not buying the premise. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I
trust
actually
me.
forgot this explanation, but yeah,
Is this-
for this scene, if the roles were reversed, this would be much more uncomfortable.
So I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that the two dogs eventually fall in love with each other and everything ends up hunky dory.
You'll have to see.
Alright, so is this going to be the movie Jack Whitehall dog gets stalked by
Actually-
Donald Trump's?
Yeah,
dog?
this brings up a good point. Where's the story? Because if this is supposed to be the story, then it's like this is not a story. This is like more. If anything, this is more like a base premise. It's not a little.
And it's closer to become a snuff video.
I'll say.
Oh no.
Okay. All right.
How, Joe, how's Kirk Thornton on your end?
He, like I said, he
Trump.
is like the best. Like, I mean,
Yeah, he does a really good impression, actually.
Unlike with Shadow, it sounds here, but it gives a shit.
Hey, he does good as Shadow nowadays.
I respectfully disagree.
Well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Dang, she's strong.
And he died.
No way, it's okay.
Forces, to be honest, for what he had to do. I still prefer David Humphrey, though.
I prefer
The original?
No,
Jason Griffith?
Jason Griffith, yeah.
I can
Eh.
see that.
He tries too hard.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah. I agree with Tio. I like Jason
Isn't that
Griffith.
Shadow's character though? He tries so hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty
That's
much.
it's the spirit, I suppose.
Yeah, but David Humphrey pulled that off better.
By Jove! Get it? Melania doesn't know things. That's comedy gold.
You can blame Belgium for this one.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a wild guess that this movie's basically just a silly comedy, and that's little
The first act at the very least.
Oh, Queen Elizabeth around here. She's voiced by
Oh!
Julie Walters.
Oh,
who's
great!
been-
Crotch joke. Don't we all love those? Yeah,
Julie
Kirk
Wal-
actually does a really good impression, actually. Yeah.
Round here, Julie Walters has been in stuff such as Mamma Mia,
Well, cried.
and she was Molly Weasley in the Harry Potter movies.
There goes the diplomatic relationships.
Also, tell you have to admit, Kirk Thornton was great as the barman in Catherine.
Yeah, Thomas Matton. I think I did mention it.
Yeah.
You've been a bad dog.
Bad doggy. I'll go sit in the corner and think about what you've done.
Oh.
As for her,
Am I supposed to care? I
as
mean,
for her,
you haven't established anything.
Hold
yet,
on, one at a
movie.
time, guys.
Wibs?
as for her American voice, Mary Devon, she's been in a lot of anime, mainly Digimon.
Huh.
Honestly, aside from Keir Thornton, the only actual American voice actor that I recognize is Dinar Andrade, my bad, because he was a staple from the World of Warcraft games, and also the Scarecrow in Batman Arkham Asylum. Oh, also he was in Playmobil the movie, good to know.
Oh, God.
The Pope's house. What?
I don't think the Pope is allowed to have pets.
Really?
Tio, Vatican City, is that its own state?
Yes. It's a bit complicated, so I'll reserve for a time where it's not important.
So to Italy now for some reason? Huh?
So
More
we have...
like I forgot, Peter. Have you seen Flushed Away?
Yes. I actually really like Flushed Away. Actually,
Well, then you should probably see where this is going.
fun fact too. It's directed by the guy who did the Astro Boy movie that I also really like. David Bowers is a very underrated director.
Huh. Poor Prince Charles. Actually, no, I'm Prince Philip. My bad.
Prince Philip. Tom Courtenay is his British voice.
Paul Gregory for America, but most of these voice actors don't even have a page.
Those will like that movie just fine. Hugh Jackman is in it, so. No.
How does that even work?
It doesn't. That's why I'm saying no.
Sticky goo stuff, whatever that is.
So what,
That's
is it-
gelatin.
What?
It was gelatin, wasn't it?
There's always room for Jello, I guess.
You know, jelly could turn you into Spider-Man.
Of course.
But British guards are quite dumb. It seems.
It's the hat. It covers their eyes.
No, don't you see? It's part of the British thing. You have to be perfectly still.
It's like a joke. How many guards do you need to put a vase back on?
So yeah, the movie suddenly switched direction. Okay. Now we're going to Italy for some reason. I'm having second thoughts, Charlie. I mean, we spent like the first 20 minutes establishing a plot, and now we're going to a different one.
Wait, a Matt Lucas character having second thoughts on stuff? Please.
Well, okay. Come on. Let's. I guess the characters are
These are
trying
the
to run
ones
away
I've
from.
seen.
I guess the characters are
Cool.
tired of their own movie, so they're gonna try and run away to another. Let's see if we'll find one of those Italian Titanic movies. Is that a shao egg in bush form? Like.
So?
So you're saying the main character dog has an American accent in your version?
No,
Prince
no,
Philip
no.
is
He
having-
sounds British over here, too.
What does that mean? Prince Philip is having cable fitted? What does that mean?
Oh,
No,
his
it's
cable
like
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but what does that mean?
fixed.
It meant that there was an opening because he needed to put an opening in the wall in order to put the cable of the cable TV.
It's British
Oh.
talk, Pedro.
But it's the American dub, shouldn't it?
No, Pedro. Just because it's the American dub doesn't mean we're gonna change the dialect to be American.
But
I
that's
mean-
what localizing
Joe,
is
Pedro,
supposed to be.
Joby, you did that with the magic roundabout.
That was one example, and that is like one of the worst examples ever, too.
Also, it was the Weinstein Company.
That
so
too.
Is this the second act? Just these two dogs trying to get to Italy?
No, Pedro. Just
Oof.
watch and wait.
Yeah, I guess Toy Story 2 didn't pay it off. Oh, shit.
Nah. If this was Toy Story 2, it would be much better done.
Well, I was talking about passing through the street disguised as a cone.
Speaking of that, I have to talk to you about that sometime after this clips.
Talk about what?
You'll see after this.
Spooky.
No, this is. You're not very bright, are you? What's his name again? The main character.
Rex.
Right. You're not very bright, are you, Rex?
He
Well,
is
he
the
literally
youngest.
grew up in the palace, so he doesn't know much about the outside world.
Also a bit of an interesting gap when it comes to releases. The UK got this film on July the 5th, 2019. The USA got it only back this past January. It takes 6 months to dub stuff over.
Oh, okay. So it's through
Honestly,
this journey that he's gonna grow a set of balls.
Honestly, Dibs, I don't know what how the gap is decided.
Hell, even in other countries, we weren't even the first country to get this film. The Dutch and the Italians got it first.
Wait, seriously?
Netherlands, 13th of February. Italy, the 14th.
Wait, what?
Psych!
Okay, this guy's now a villain suddenly.
You should have. There were clues
Yeah.
in there, actually.
Yeah, there were hints. Basically,
Like the way he put the collar under the bush.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought the older dog would have made more sense to be the one.
Nah, he's just a
No.
grumpy old man.
The old dog's just grumpy. This one is actively jealous of him, since Rex is kind of the queen's favorite.
Okay, so I guess we're not going to Italy after all.
Oh,
No.
Bye.
Nah, I mean, honestly, I knew from the get-go we weren't gonna go to Italy. Like, it was pretty
Okay.
clear it was gonna backstab
Okay,
him.
you know what? That whole subplot about the Donald Trump wanting to get the Rex married to the other dog, you could have cut that out and skipped straight
No,
to...
Pedro. That was the catalyst for this, though.
I get that, but you could have used a shorter catalyst that didn't waste as much time.
Well,
Like
I
a
mean, they
shorter-
would have needed a reason for him to want to run away from the palace.
And that's hypothermic.
I know, Jova, but I think a more simpler, shorter version that would have saved us more runtime for more important stuff like character development. But again, I'm trying to think of it from the perspective of a competent filmmaker. I'm sorry, I need to.
Yeah,
And
honestly,
Rex
different
died. What a
strokes for
short
different
movie.
folks.
And now, is this the Finding Nemo ripoff now?
Actually, it reminds me a
No,
bit
that
more of
already
that.
exists.
It actually reminds me more of that the Disney short of Plutopia.
British slippers, because
Remember, that's the thing. Again, that's the thing.
excuse me.
Are we in Madagascar now with the trippy sequences?
I'm guessing this is a dream.
Well, again, Pedro, he's dying of hypothermia. He's hallucinating things.
Yeah, I guess. So is he gonna die now?
Wow, that would be a shit way for me to go about my birthday, pick a movie where a dog died.
Whoa!
Like, Jesus.
Wait.
Suppository.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that this dog fell into icy water, was rescued, and somehow
and
came
only
out completely unscathed?
And only woke up just now. Yeah.
But completely unscathed? Like,
Oh, well, I mean, well, if you're expecting wounds on him, not really. And when it comes to the whole unscathed, he was technically hallucinating. That's not exactly coming out unscathed.
I agree with that. I'll go on. Hold on, Pedro. I agree with that hypothermia takes like a bit to recover, and he leaves you like tired as fuck. but Rex seemed just fine with a suppository up his ass.
Now that I can agree with.
After being drowned.
I'm by no means a veterinarian, but I'm pretty sure dogs have less resistance to hypothermia than humans do.
Oh, no.
Depends on the metabolism.
Yeah.
I guess.
Hey, it's that happy place, the pound.
Okay, now it's
Lenny and the Tramp, yeah.
we're just gonna go for all, we couldn't decide what animated film to make, so we just made all of them.
You can actually feed through those bars. What is this Sonic Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog monarchy?
Actually, those bars are a little small for him, as we see here.
I don't know, in some shot they looked like large enough.
Oh, that's just
All
bad
right.
animation.
Weird
All right.
perspective, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, buddy, I found a new friend.
Oh, come on, you almost title dropped.
Ha!
What?
Seriously.
Such a random reference. Like, in
Maybe he
Not
was
even
being
a reference
sarcastic.
to like another dog or anything.
and Lady Gaga.
Maybe he was being sarcastic.
No, I get that, Webs. It's not. That's not my point. My point is that the reference is just somehow out of place.
Yeah, it was more so him being sarcastic, but yeah,
W-
Hunger
wouldn't
Games.
wouldn't a British celebrity joke make more sense?
There were some British people on Hunger Games.
No, I'm not saying that. The British characters usually should reference British culture, not so much American-made movies.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
stereotyping.
Bro.
Ian McKee, who was in our version voicing this particular character called Jack, he was in Ni no Kuni playing a character named Mark Cassin.
Oh,
Markuson.
Markuson. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. I guess.
Wait,
his career was
Markuson?
down.
Oh my god.
Markuson is
Yeah, I
the
know.
fourth party member.
Yeah, the prince.
Mm-hmm.
For the United States, dub is voiced by Rusty Shackleford. What the hell?
Okay, so we're like 30 minutes into this, and I already have a major complaint. The pacing of this movie is awful. We just keep jumping from place to place, like in such breakneck speed, when we don't actually slow down to actually flesh out any of these characters.
Oh.
Rex.
All right, hopefully the movie will slow down a bit now.
Well, we have like an hour left. I don't know, Mr. Shackleford sounds a bit like Yuri Lowenthal, if you ask me, for the American dub.
Hey, haven't you seen the Pound Puppies? The Pound is the happiest place to be.
Does that involve also the prophecy tied to the bonus cone?
Let's go to the pound.
Pound Puppies.
Buckingham P.
That's abbreviation, yo.
Okay, I'm guessing he's gonna eventually befriend these dogs, and then he'll become humble as a result, and then he'll free all the dogs for the pound, and he'll run away all to Buckingham Palace or some shit.
Not without a middleman.
Okay. Damn movie.
Chief, though, is voiced by Colin McFarlane for the British dub.
Hey, get it? The big guy who doesn't speak much is called Chief.
Oh, it was Commissioner Loeb in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight.
Yep.
Yep.
And for the American version?
Rick Zayev. Let me check what else. This guy actually has a page. Oh, he's now the regular voice actor for Spike the Dog for the Tom and for the whatever Tom and Jerry media.
Okay. Well, if there is any more after
Apparently-
the Willy Wonka crossover.
Apparently, was also in Terminator 3. Oh,
Let me guess. It's just the hat, but it's not really the Queen.
yeah, no. Oh boy.
Ha!
Oh no.
Oh, I would never imagine a dog would pee.
Yeah, Joe brings up a good point. Actually,
It's like one of those kids that want a puppy at all costs, but the first time he poops on the floor, he's like, nope, I don't want it anymore.
Take it back, Mom.
Okay, stop with the fake title drops. Come on.
They're just faking us out, aren't they?
There's another thing, Joe. But see, I guess one of the proper reasons why I couldn't even tell that dog was bad, was evil, is because if the movie maybe stopped for slow down in the first 20 minutes to get me to know any of these characters, maybe I would have caught that.
I feel like they've done a fine enough job at that. It's just, at that point, it's sort of like, different strokes for different folks at different paces and different laces.
Sorry.
I mean, I do agree that nobody's really developed all that well, but I will say, like, I could tell where this was going throughout.
It's not just.
There
It's not
wasn't
so
really
much.
any issue there.
And now it's time to fake Rex's death.
Well, sure. It's more so the fact that up until we get to the pound, the movie just jumps between places like every 2 minutes.
This is so stupid.
Barely stops to breathe.
And she completely buys it.
Wow, the Queen is a freaking moron. Okay.
Considering how old she is, it's like you could have given her a freaking heart attack.
Sorry, Shiroi, we need to paint her like she's indestructible or something.
Sorry,
Because
but
that's kind of what happens IRL, apparently. What the fuck? It's a chihuahua. Those are demons.
Yes, I know. I don't like them.
Wow, what an incredibly clever name, writers. What's next? Puggy the Pug?
I'm surprised you didn't catch on to the Chief reference.
Cocaine snorting reference. I guess the kids will get that.
Like, that, I'm guessing, if that's supposed to be your adult-only joke, it's a very weak one.
Also, get it is the Chihuahua, so he gets a Mexican guitar theme. Fucking hell.
Anyone ever see Beverly Hills Chihuahua?
No.
Oh!
I don't want to.
You mean that movie that everybody thought...
Raja Gosnell can do anything, but I will not watch that movie.
It was not a good movie.
Well, if it helps you, Teo, its competition was Inception, and it got destroyed there.
Well,
Well,
they still didn't stop them from making sequels, apparently.
Yeah, like, let's be quite honest, Pedro, that wasn't gonna stop it. Like, Inception was more a movie for adults. Beverly Chihuahua didn't have competition in the children's area.
To be honest, he has a good point.
Yeah, I kind of wish I was watching Bolt instead.
That one at least has a cat.
Well, that movie actually was good. Not great, but good. Solid enough.
Oh, here we go.
Wait, what?
They mentioned it right now. It's a Fight Club.
Okay.
Get it? Because it's a prison.
Ray Winston?
No, no, thank you. I don't like that movie.
For the American dub is voiced by Joey Kamen, which
yes,
is which
yes.
was in a lot of video game actually. Let me check if there's some people that we know actually. Go on, Ted, in the meantime.
And yes, audience, I know that that's sacrilege, but I don't
Well,
care.
you already mentioned that in the
Yeah.
past. Oh, it was Tyson in Azura's Wrath. There's something I know. But yeah, even for the American dub, this guy goes full stereotype Cockney to the point that, yeah, Saber's making a little point. He sounds like the Canadian voice
Wow.
actors are trying to be British in the Warhammer 40k games.
Are you fucking serious? Boxer the Boxer. Okay, here's my other major complaint. The writing in comedy in general is bad.
Ray Winston's done a lot of stuff around here. He mainly does adverts for Bet365, the betting company.
Well, keep in mind that in terms of 2019, this movie was a better release for him than Cats. So.
Oh, great. Oh, is this the? Oh, this is the Lady in the Tramp dog that also sang. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Well, round here they actually got a person who can both act and sing, Sheridan Smith.
For the American, he's voiced by Joe Wyatt. I haven't heard that name before.
She's also English.
So we got an actual British rabbit. British voice actress.
Rabbit.
No, I confused that because the moment I was saying that, I was reading that she has been in a couple of roles in the Peter Rabbit season 1 UK dub TV show from 2012 to 2016.
Oh, like
There's a Peter Rabbit TV show.
Apparently.
I didn't know.
Well, Peter Rabbit, it's actually an old franchise, Joe.
I know that. I know that. I just didn't
there
know there
we
was
go.
a
She's
show.
also the voice actress of Oliver's mom in Ni no Kuni.
Huh.
Wow, all these talented people that got
We have
dragged
quite a
into
few
this.
Ni no Kuni alumni here.
So Sheridan Smith's been in Gavin and Stacey and the like.
No, that's not how you say it. Let's get ready to rumble! That's how you say it.
Yeah, you'll get sued by Michael Buffer if you do that.
How to Kill My Dog. Poor Philly.
Honey, are you aware that he's reading a book literally titled How to Kill a Dog?
I think the movie has established pretty much that Queen Elizabeth is not the smartest tool in the shed.
Not the most
Also,
attentive.
I-
No kidding.
Like, I'm not sure like how much this would matter to Americans, but Dwibs, they kind of made him look like the narrator for Grizzly Tales.
What, Prince Philip?
Yeah.
Oh.
He
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of does.
His face kind of looks a bit similar.
And just the way he's hunched over all the time, right?
Yeah, I'm half expecting him to say, "You're welcome at Grizzly Tales for gruesome kids."
Like, I want to see him smile now, just for comparison's sake.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one beneficial thing about this commentary. Thanks to us watching both dubs at the same time, you can learn a lot of stuff about one side that you didn't know about the other.
There will also, how did you find our roles there?
He just did because cartoon logic.
It was there because...
Okay, stop with the title drops.
You what, mate?
Huh.
Not.
Seems like they keep the dialogue exactly the same from based off
They
of your
literally
reactions.
just changed the voice actors, and aside from one or two roles, I don't really understand the reason behind it. I guess I should start a drinking game. A one shot every time he almost drops the title.
Oh, Sheridan Smith was also in the Huntsman Winter's War.
Oh, great.
yeah.
Say
I
something
definitely,
funny.
I can
Laugh
definitely
at my
tell-
joke.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Now that it's a bit quieter, now his voice is a bit quieter. I can definitely tell that's Ray Winston.
No, she didn't. Ugh.
Yeah, not your territory.
I keep thinking he's from Weasley.
You know, that's why you should, put salt on the ground.
See?
Okay, that's another thing. If you keep insisting on that, why don't you call the movie The Queen's Top Dog?
It's a good thing all the stars aligned for that one specific coffee
Moment.
cup.
I know, right?
Yeah, honestly, that kind of thing happens in movies all the time. The whole stars aligning thing.
She's a gold digger.
I can deal with it as long as it's not the whole movie,
Oh, God. Can we stop
Gold
with
digger.
this?
Well, it's like I said at the beginning, these dogs are thirsty.
Yeah, seriously, someone in the development team has particular
Well,
ideas on what to watch on the internet, I guess.
Well, I'm pretty sure this dog is just saying this to
Pretty
go
much.
to life into the palace. So
Still, though.
Well, Tio, so some people said that, I don't know if you've seen the movie, but some people said the same thing about that one dog in the rich family from Oliver and Company.
Oh, actually,
Like the way
I
she's
get
animated specifically is like,
that too.
Jesus.
I watched it when I was like 4.
I was surprised that one of the writers of that film was the guy behind like Logan.
Yeah. Great,
Wow.
musical number, fantastic.
no, you're 45 minutes in. You can't become a musical now.
Too bad, we're becoming a musical now.
But we're halfway through the.
Okay, I don't think it's a musical. He's just trying to sing, but he
Yeah.
can't.
I get it, it's more also in universe than out, but
I think she feels as awkward as we do, to be honest.
is Jack Whitehall good at singing, Dweebs?
I don't know. I haven't heard him sing that much, but he's not good here. Although I'm guessing that's the point.
It's because they have that weird change in lighting that only makes sense in think back to Can't Wait to Be King from The Lion King, where suddenly the visuals change style for a more stylized look. That's because it's a musical number, and usually in musical animations.
Also, that one, I know it kind of does it throughout the movie, but
Oh
that
my
one
God,
specific
I
amazing
actually
musical number
didn't
from
notice
Frozen
that
2.
now. But seriously? Like this low?
What?
The score on Rotten Tomatoes of this movie, I actually didn't check until this very moment, and I can't believe it.
What
It's
is
a
it?
0.
Wait, seriously?
Well, how many reviews?
I think it's 19.
Okay.
It's literally called Universal. Like seriously, okay. Maybe I don't have like a super high opinion, but a 0? Fuck me, there are way worse
I've seen
movies
like
than this.
far worse movies.
Me
like-
too, actually. No,
Nah,
this
I
movie so
mean-
far just seems confused and all over the place to me.
I mean,
Oh, wow,
so
they
far in
even
terms
gave
of-
him a gun salute.
I mean, in terms of 0% rated movies, it's not worse than Ballistic or anything.
So we're gonna shoot cannons too, like we do for the police. Also, interesting to see that of the royal family we only see Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, not the younger elements. Would have loved to see what this movie would have done to Camilla Parker Bowles.
You don't really need to go this far, dude. The queen is dumb as a.
It's a brick.
Yeah, I think the other two are finding this weird also.
Yeah, like you never liked it before.
No, I get that. He's doing this for the purpose of fooling everybody. But
Yeah,
I don't think
I know. it's
no,
just-
the point is like the other two aren't buying it, I don't think.
Oh goody, time for a training montage.
What about? But what about the other? What about the other one? The one that wasn't a knockout?
Remind me again. What's the name of the bad dog? The one he's supposed to fight?
Tyson.
I think he just said
Tyson.
Tyson.
Get it?
Tyson.
Because he's
Alright,
built like
so-
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, training montage, and then he's like Tyson.
Is this gonna be like the first Rocky film? Because that means he's gonna get creamed.
I'll be thankful
Oh,
for
never
that.
mind.
Oh, there you go.
We're not even hiding it.
Well,
You know,
well,
okay,
thankful-
guys. Maybe we don't need to point out the movies they're referencing. The movie seems
Well-
to apparently be at its job there.
Well, do you ever be thankful it's not Rocky 4 where you all die in the fight?
Is that the one with the robot?
You know, I would.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Well, it's even referencing the music and everything. I think. I think I would enjoy these pop culture references more if the movie went for a more over the top surreal type of comedy rather than the typical Pixar style that this movie is going for.
Okay, yeah, I call it a bit bullshit because he is supposed to be trading shenanigans, so balance should be something he should know about.
Yeah.
Test your might.
Yes. Oh.
Wax on, wax off.
Wrong movie, Jova. We're going with Rocky.
Oh, are you implying that this movie won't do references to that as well?
No, but this montage is clearly Rocky style.
Yeah.
The movie itself made that point clear.
And now he has a concussion.
Well,
Yeah.
remember, Shiroi, this dog is apparently immortal since it managed to escape from that Blake thing.
You don't have to be immortal to get from that.
And that's the end of that scene, I guess. Moving on.
At
Well,
least
it's late
it's
for
still
that
staying
now.
on the same, track for now.
Yeah, because are we about to come to Fight Club? Sorry.
Stage fright. I don't think you can see this stand aside of any blood, much regardless of color, considering how refined and foiled you are.
Jesus Christ. Mr. Kamen is trying way too hard with a cockney.
Well, Ray Winston actually is Cockney, so
I get the thought process, just like seriously.
I've heard worse.
No,
Yeah.
I'm usually amused by that, Joe. Remember, one of the early things I said in our commentaries, but I'm amused by the fact that Cockney seems to be English on autotune.
Oh yeah.
Although I'll agree with Shiroi, though. Honestly, if I want to hear, British characters, I'd rather hear it coming from British voice actors. It's more natural
And authentic.
and not what. Sorry.
And authentic.
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess we're fucked.
Pretty much.
Rex, you deserve to die just for even saying that line earlier.
What?
I'm too fluffy to
die.
I get the idea that Mr. Javadi used his talent mostly for the intro sequence and then was like, sure, maybe tomorrow I'll compose.
Jawadi is better at action oriented.
Well, not according to you, not always, considering he did Gears 4 and 5.
True, but considering the incredibly bland to bad material he had to work with, I'm not surprised.
Like, it's not even good for the remixing or incorporating the Gears classic theme.
That's the thing, Till. Those games barely incorporate that theme. That's that's one of my major problems.
And he died.
By being roasted by vapors.
No, he's fine. Perfectly fine. I don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's voiced by Ray Winston. He typically voices the characters who don't give no shits. Whether good or bad guy.
I think a composer like John Powell would have been a better pick for this movie. He's experienced in animated films.
Oh yeah, he did great in Pan.
My favorite score of his is How to Train Your Dragon.
Jeff, we meant good animated films.
Well, he's done plenty of bad, mediocre, and good ones, Joe. He's done plenty of them. He did Rio.
He did Pluto Nash as well.
Yeah.
I can tell this is something that I noticed earlier, but now I guess I can confirm. Chief looks animated in a poor. It looks Chief render model looks more poor animated compared to the rest of the other ones. I don't know. It looks less polished. If that makes any sense.
Well, it's had a budget of 20 million American dollars.
You're talking about the one who the stock was who trained Rex?
The small one.
Oh no, I can see what you mean. It's the way he moves. Like it looks like they cut like 2 frames.
Also Dweebs gives a good idea for the budget. Budget 20 million, box office 31.4. So not a success.
Apparently.
Combined with the pretty much terrible all the line reviews of these, these may actually be the studio sinker.
Oh, is the studio dead?
No, they are still having one movie in production, but hopefully they'll manage to do it.
Apparently, word is that they considered the box office successful for this movie. Apparently,
Ray Winston was in Hugo.
Hugo Cabaret, you mean?
That's Martin Scorsese family movie. Yeah.
Oh, of course, obligatory. Second to third act breakup. Ugh.
I will say this, for a 20 million budget movie, the animation doesn't look too bad.
Oh,
It's fine.
I've seen also the studio's previous works, like some of Bigfoot, and the animation is probably one of the strongest suits of his team.
Oh, and Wayne Winston was also in another movie that has different dubs, The Magic Roundabout.
Great.
British version, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Quick, pee on her. It worked last time.
And now you made a little girl cry, you jackass.
Seriously.
Well,
Or she just pet
Oh, okay,
you.
never mind then.
You know what this reminds me of?
Well,
This character reminds me of Tim Curry's character in The Pebble and the Penguin, as well as this character one. Like now that I think
yeah, I
about
can see
it,
what you're saying.
now that I think about it, this kind of there's a lot of semblances to The Pebble and the Penguin.
Huh.
So Big Mean Dog, you guys are saying his Cockney's a bit over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell, even his design reminds me of the Penguin from played by Tim Curry. I think another thing is that this movie takes a lot from much better animated films.
Interesting thing from TV tropes, under the fandom rivalry bit for this movie, apparently it has a minor fandom rivalry with The Secret Life of Pets due to the similar premise.
Don't you mean the sequel?
No, Secret Life. No, the first one, at least.
I thought the second one came out near this one.
He's
Anyway,
talking more so about the fandoms in general.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
fandoms.
Go on.
Some who watched Queen's Corgi thinks it has a much better constructed plot and deride the former due to being made by a more accessible studio.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen any of the Secret Life movies. Isn't the first one just like Toy Story with dogs?
It's standard illumination, Pedro. It's basically animated 3D CGI full junk.
Let me put it like this. It's, hey, what happens when your insert something... what is your insert something doing while you're not watching?
Mm-hmm. Again, it's a nice concept, but I think when it comes to pets, only a couple of times we may... Yeah, I am Spartacus.
I'm Malcolm X. No, I'm Malcolm X.
Hold on, guys. I know how this goes. No, Hopper, you're wrong. We don't serve the grasshoppers. Oh wait, sorry, I'm thinking of a better film.
Doesn't that happen also at the end of Tall Girl?
Oh wait.
Or is Cyberbully? I forgot which of the two.
Well, Theo, that movie doesn't even do the same thing. Bug's Life was about rising against depression. It wasn't so much about bullying.
Oh snap! He speaks.
Oh boy.
It's always the quiet ones.
Ow.
Also, that sounded pathetic.
Yes, should have been a bit more punchy in terms of sound effects.
Hell, Tim Curry's character, Pebble the Penguin, died a surprisingly gruesome death. So, like...
Oop. Well... The Scandi, the St. Bernard hates winter.
To be fair, they make good points. Yeah. Okay, I guess it's just one then. Not that that sounded suspicious or anything.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Yeah, that's another thing.
you better lay low, Nelson. Oh, sorry.
Pretty much from his betrayal onward, I forgot the name of the other.
Charlie.
Thank you. Charlie pretty much gets the villain ball and rolls with it with no single fuck given.
Sorry, without the collar, you can't.
Okay,
prove it.
that's another thing I need to point out because it's pretty much a thing that the movie has done for a long time now. This is one kind of movie where the animal speaks, but the humans can't understand them. Obviously, that's understandable. But we have all these scenes where the animals are speaking directly to the humans, thinking they can understand them when it's clearly not happening. So, like, it's a bit confusing.
It's like
It is.
it's basically Madagascar's level of stuff. The animals can understand them, but the humans can't understand them.
Even though that doesn't make a lick of sense. But I just thought of something, guys.
Wow.
Okay, so the guards didn't recognize him because of lack of color. Okay, I get that. But that brings up a question, though. How
Wow.
come Wanda suddenly believed that this particular Corgi is indeed the Queen's top dog, considering it can be just another Corgi?
Because she knows better.
Well, okay.
I just found a plot hole on
Wait.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
movie.
Shiroi, a
hold
dog.
on.
Actually, I need to know something about the dogs. Is it good to give them beans?
I don't know because, okay, in terms of what dogs can't eat, the list is very specific.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked.
Oh wait, is
I
that a
actually
bean?
don't know for that.
That's a
That's
sausage,
no.
but
That's a
yeah,
sausage.
yeah, true. But in the plate there were also beans.
Oh, so
Yeah,
they had
like
the
those.
beans with the pork sausages, yeah.
You're a dog. You have no concept of taxes.
Anyway, Pedro, you didn't quite get a plot hole there because the reason she believes he's him is because, well, she's spent her whole life in the pound. So the first dog she sees, of course she'll believe it's him, especially since he looks a lot like him, like to the point where it's practically uncanny.
I guess she literally took the first chance she got, regardless if it was
I
true or
guess.
not. Jesus Christ, this is crazy.
You know, Joe. But much like Bob Show usually says in his reviews, we can make a countdown of this movie of things that these dogs should not be aware of or have any grasp of knowledge of, like taxes, pop culture references. You should
Oh,
much
but
like
don't-
Alpha and Omega.
Oh, but don't you
know?
see, Pedro? He's the top dog.
Basic just that you don't know what Rocky is, you don't know what taxes are.
Maybe they watched Rocky with the Queen one night. Oh wait, never mind, that was the dogs in the pound. Maybe they happened to see the workers watching it at some point since they break out every now and then.
See, they actually did came out. At least. Oh, okay.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Wait, isn't that America's line?
Well, I was quoting the Thailand.
Oh
for
my
Civil
god,
War,
the
but
movie
yeah,
literally,
sure.
the movie literally just shrugged because the opening that Rex had found was big enough only for dogs of all size. So when he asked, "How did you get out?" they said, "You better not know." Jeez.
Otherwise, then we'd have to kill you.
Also, funny thing round here, United We Stand is the name of a fan magazine for Manchester United.
Wow.
Well, to be fair, it makes sense for them to have that motto. So
Oi, oi,
it's
oi!
called Manchester United.
And it was a British song made. Hang on, was it British? Let me see.
This just in, the
Also, I thought
Queen's...
you guys weren't supposed to laugh or anything.
The
Because
mighty,
Yeah.
the mighty
in
queen,
the
the mighty queen's guards are fooled by a bunch of stray dogs.
So this is where your tax dollars are going, Shiroi and Glibs.
I think that's actually more satire than the presence of Trump itself.
And Jova?
More like Dwebs, remember, Shiroi's Welsh.
Well, let's not forget, though,
We
Queen
have
of...
to pay taxes, Pedro, and actually, Jova, I don't earn enough money to have to pay tax, so it's not worth
And
it.
also,
You capitalism!
So
and
the tax.
also, Jovi, do you mean tax pounds?
Oh, so if I understood correctly, Shiroi, all taxes in the UK go towards the same source, like on all UK countries.
Well,
No,
okay.
what I was saying was people who earn over a certain amount have to pay tax.
No,
I don't earn that much.
well, okay, I get that, Shiroi, but do Welsh people pay taxes towards the Queen of England?
Yeah, we pay
then.
taxes. We pay the same taxes.
I mean, the
Okay,
Queen
then.
is technically the Queen of all Britain.
Although,
It's the British government technically.
although Wales is a devolved country, that means they have some autonomy.
Yeah, we are able to handle some things ourselves, but no, some of our taxes do go.
That is a bad line, and whoever wrote that should feel bad.
What line?
What line was it?
You dealt with ice. Now I'll show you how to deal with fire. What the hell does that even mean?
Oh,
Because
wait.
when you first separated from him, he threw it in the
Well,
frozen
he just
river.
set them on. He just set them on fire. So
Yeah.
no one can smell that. No,
There's no
it's a
smoke
huge fucking
detectors.
fire.
Is there no? Are there no smoke
I'm pretty-
detectors in Buckingham
No,
Palace?
yeah, there are no security cameras, no smoke detectors, like Jova just said. This is bullshit.
You
All
know,
of these things would be in Buckingham Palace.
when you get down to this, somebody could kill the Queen pretty easily with this lack of security.
Yeah.
And we're talking about one of the most heavily guarded people on the planet.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Wanda's dead. How will I ever cope?
Crushed by a pile of merchandise, the social
The man's
commentary.
smoked.
These two never even fucking barely even talk to each other.
Yeah, they talked enough. That
I don't know. I think Rex was doing most of the talking.
definitely, though, yeah. Oh boy. Got
Okay,
an
let me
idea,
ref-
have we?
How about that, Joe? But they never had a heart-to-heart.
Well, there was the whole he's dead heart-to-heart thing.
Let me put it like this, Joe. An equivalent to
I
Rapunzel and Eugene in the
know.
campfire.
On the chimney. Here's hoping the chimney is not closed.
His selfless act.
Look at it. There you go. He has selfless act of courage, which means he gets to be top dog. Yay.
If he lives.
Yeah, not enough.
Also, the whole thing between these two is especially weird because she was a complete and utter gold digger, and now suddenly what she actually likes him somehow?
That is weird.
Well, Shiroi, this is what we call lazy writing.
Speaking of laziness, seriously, they had an escalator.
Why?
Shiroi, Dwibs, I didn't know that you guys had this much for your corgis.
I don't think we do.
Again, this is where your tax dollars. This is where your tax dollars are apparently going. A conveyor belt for a corgi.
Jova, what have I told you? It's tax pounds. We don't do dollars.
Yes, that makes us all the more proud.
Oh no.
Well,
Philip, have you taken your meds?
clearly not.
I mean, so far, I think Prince Philip has had the better lines.
Oh, what's this?
What will that accomplish?
They're
You'll
delaying
see.
things, I think.
Oh, okay.
So it's the equivalent of stop the coronation.
Yeah, that's basically my reaction to the movie. Thank you, dude.
I mean,
Thank
I
you,
guess to be
Circus.
fair, what do you say when you are the husband of a woman who holds a coronation for...
Well, fucking Corgi.
I mean, okay, you know what, don't get me wrong. It's nice to see animals treated very well. But again, may I remind you, this is where tax dollars are apparently going towards people.
I'm not going to...
Oof.
So I guess Donald Trump and his dog just dropped completely out of the story.
Pretty much. Again,
Oh!
once again, they were only the catalyst for the plot to start.
So when I eventually get a paying job, my national insurance contributions is going to go towards all this.
Well,
Yes.
in that case,
Well, I mean, to be fair, I still pay national insurance. So.
well, in that,
So-
in that case,
Yeah.
Look at the bright side, guys. It's the dogs. That's a good cause, ain't it?
well, in that case, I can definitely now elaborate when I was talking about earlier. Like, if we had a quicker and easier established catalyst, we could have saved 15 minutes to flesh out the characters a bit more.
Yeah, but the movie wouldn't have been nearly as memorable.
Did he need it, Jova? Did he need it?
No, it didn't, but let's be quite honest. The main reason this movie's gonna get remembered is because of the Trump beginning.
I'm just glad that thanks to Netflix, I don't have to spend any money on this.
So, okay, so, Shiroi, Dwibs, apparently your
Yeah.
tax donations are going towards a palace that a bunch of dogs, if trained enough, could break in and assassinate the queen.
Well, maybe the Queen needs to hire a better National Guard or something.
Well, that's the thing, Shiroi. I guess to be fair, Shiroi, maybe the idea that they're going for is that his selfless act of courage is what makes her fall in love with him. The problem is the movie doesn't commit to it in the sense that, like, it could have had a scene where she swoons over him while she goes up, something like that. Like, thank you and all, something like that. Like, it's.
We didn't get that, unfortunately.
The pacing of this movie is the big problem. Like, it's just. It doesn't know when to slow down. It doesn't know when to go fast.
Actually, the National Guard's the American thing. Ours should be the Army Reserve.
Also, the slapstick is.
Actually, this is supposed to be the final climax.
Yeah, well, that actually is a segue for me. As for the Beast being actually the climax of the movie, is
we were talking.
You know
what? We were talking about Illumination earlier. The first Despicable Me had much better slapstick than this.
Cool. Also, just I don't know how the regulations are for the UK, but that thing that it's in the fire extinguisher should be compressed CO2, so this should be very deadly.
It's not so much deadly, but it can, at the very least, burn your eyes.
And make you at least difficult to breathe.
You know that I'm thinking about it. That's kind of sad. Illumination literally peaked at their first movie.
That's kind of the sad. That's kind of okay. It's like I said, Illumination are pretty much the Epic Game Stores of film companies. Like when they first started out, people were really excited to see a new film company in for the competition. The problem was that they didn't turn out to be the genuine souls we thought they were.
Anyway, Tio.
Yeah.
He sent a dog.
Here in Britain, we've got CO2, water additive, AFFF foam, dry powder, and wet chemical
balloon.
fire extinguishers.
Okay.
You don't know what a heart shape is, by the way, Wanda.
Well, I mean, to be fair, maybe they have
they
like heart
actually found it on
decorations at the
screen.
pound.
I thought there was a payoff to that. The ever so competent Queen's Guards.
The British Guard, everybody. Bernard, isn't his name Rex?
No, Rex is the protagonist.
He was talking to
Bernard
the
was
dog
the one
called
pushing
Bernard.
behind. I am actually a better question.
Okay, never mind.
I actually have a better question. Rex, you have nails. Use them. Like,
how strong are they, though? Let's not.
Well, if they're enough to poke something.
If the Queen's Guard can't catch dogs, I dread to think what they're going to be like if something actually really
Terrorism
really
is over. Outrageous!
Oh no!
You know, all of you other dogs, Wanda has, but you don't really have any reason to be, staying by Rex's side. He hasn't done anything for you.
Oh, no. Well, there was technically how he helped, get Tyson dealt with earlier.
Oh.
You forgot about that, didn't you?
I guess.
Not that I can blame you. This movie isn't exactly the best at keeping track of things itself.
It's just that the movie in general
Oh,
is
wait,
just
hold
very
on.
forgettable.
Get it? He understands now that power doesn't mean everything.
What? Yeah, that's very nice, but he's still an evil villain that should be stopped.
There will be repercussions, kind of.
Remember, Pedro, what did kickstarted the plot of the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Let's just let him wait and see.
I forgot, yeah. Okay.
I'm not surprised you forgot, to be honest.
No. To be fair, in this particular case, it's my bad. Yeah, I should have thought of that. The fox?
Basically, well, don't you remember?
They thought a fox ate him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, remember earlier on, the other dog, like Charlie, whatever, like had his collar on the floor with like fake blood or whatever it was. We have a lot of foxes around here that roam.
It's just in. The Queen is taking dogs that are not corgis in.
Poor Prince Philip.
Aww.
He's sick of all these dogs.
Of course.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
her British voice actress played a character who was used to weird stuff happening around her.
Dudes.
Yeah, I forgot his name. That particular dog had Californian accent.
Shouldn't the British script say lads or something
Yeah,
like that?
to be fair, not all the dogs are British.
It was like that.
Well,
it's like
I
that
think
around
Pedro
here,
refers
too.
not to this one, but for the UK version.
It's like that. He said dudes around here too.
Oh, I guess.
They say dudes over in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Not as often though.
It's a pretty neutral term, but
That's why I thought, yeah.
But for the most part, we just say, "Come on, lads."
Yeah, that's why I thought.
Yeah,
lads. I thought that's exactly why I thought that.
Okay.
Was...
I never got the tin can thing.
Me neither.
It's because it makes noise, Shiroi. It's kind of an old tradition.
Oh.
I know, but yeah.
He's gonna be raped.
Think of the bloodline, boy.
Seriously.
Well, you want it to be top dog.
This is your duty as top dog.
Yep.
Seriously, that's fucked up.
This is very tasteful.
Well, at least we haven't seen Trump before the ending. There's
Yes,
that.
that's true.
And
There
that
we
was
go.
the Queen's Corgi, unless there's an after-credits scene.
No, I don't think Rex is gonna be invited for the Excalibur
For Smash
initiative.
Bros.
Let me check. Let's see.
Well, I'll just leave the copy going around.
Same.
So who wants to start?
Can I go first?
Go on.
Okay. Speaking for the British version here, it's I mean, it's not god awful. It's just okay. I mean, it's just I mean the actors are fine. The animation's not too bad looking for something that's only $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
But the story, I don't know, I've seen this kind of story done a million times before and better. That's really the big problem. The story's not that interesting, and it's not even... And I can go to many other movies that do this better.
Would you agree that the movie deserved the 0%?
Oh God, no.
Well,
Zero
is not exactly a rating. It's just how many people liked or didn't like it.
Yeah, Dwibs has a good point. A lot of people tend to forget that with Rotten Tomatoes, the percentage is about how many people actually gave a positive review to a movie.
True, but in this case, it means literally no one had anything even remotely positive to say.
Well, I mean, I can't really blame them, but I'll get more to that in my final thoughts. Continue, Dwibs.
But I've seen worse.
Okay, then I guess I'll go next then. Yeah, I mean, okay, like I said, the thing that's most memorable about this movie is the Trump sequence. Let's be quite honest. That's probably the only thing you're gonna remember about this movie afterwards. That said, there are some other things of note here, but let's be quite honest. Whenever anyone talks about this movie these days, it's about, oh my god, Kirk Thornton has one of the best Trump impressions ever. Pretty much.
And keep in mind that that's gonna be in his resume for the rest of his life.
Well, he seems like a guy who's willing to take the plunge, and you know what?
Pretty much.
Honestly, he wouldn't be the only guy to do a good Trump impression, and hey, Johnny Depp did it, and he got... I forget if he got an Oscar for that. Regardless, though, the point is, this movie is... Okay, this movie is a movie made of very, very, very small victories. Like, yes, the animation for a $20 million budget project actually does look pretty fine and nice. It does have a few genuine laughs, I'll admit, mainly out of, you know, the Queen's husband, Philip. But yeah, there were some other laughs here and there, too. And it's not a god-awful plot. Like, if I'm to be honest, it does stuff fine here and there. That said, though, I guess when it comes to just being fine, you can't really call a review positive about it. I guess that's why I may think that this movie got a 0% in the sense that nobody could really say anything that was amazing about it. And heck, even with the Donald Trump stuff, it's not because it's genuinely good, but because it's Trump. Almost anything with him's gonna be memorable for all the wrong reasons, goddammit. That said, though, the climax was kinda lame. Just a shame. The music was, well, fine out, you know, well done a job here and there. Again, I think what I'm really gonna take from this movie is that this is where all your tax donations are going, Dwibs and Shiroi. Think about that.
It's amazing.
According to Belgium, the whole continent of Europe, no wait, not necessarily the whole continent, but the whole collection of Britain's countries pay taxes so the Queen can embellish her corgis and now apparently her whole set of dogs. Like, that must have been a great time in the news when the Queen announced she was getting all those different dogs. By the way, by the way, for reference sake, Trump is historically the first president to not have a pet. So, yeah.
Wow, he sucks even more.
Basically, though, they literally wrote in him having a pet for this.
Does he have an allergy or something?
Don't know.
Get a fish.
I actually don't know, and I don't want to know.
Seriously, though, our presidents have had some pretty amazing animals. One even had some pet buffalo roaming around the front yard.
Wow.
Yep. But yeah, this movie, again, it might as well be called Donald Trump's in this, the movie, because that honestly feels like the thing that they put the most effort into. And that's not to say that there wasn't effort. Like, I'll give the actors credit. They all definitely sound like they're giving it their all. Good old college try here and there. And all of them do their jobs properly here and there. And like I said, this did give me some few genuine laughs here. That said, though, it's a bit of a cockamania plot here when it's not being a bit bland or just derivative, to say the very least, and to be incredibly kind. It's the Queen's Corgi. It's something you want to watch with friends because it's one of those technically really bad, but sort of you don't know what to think kind of movies at the end of the day. And that pretty much wraps up my final thoughts. Tio.
Yeah, I'll go next. This was harmless. Not really memorable, I would agree, but fundamentally harmless. Even I agree with Saberspark. Even the Trump satire is much more subdued than stuff like that animated show is called Our Current President or something. So it's bad. Even if it unfortunately makes the movie instantly dated, and it could have been, it could have been just. Replaced. Mr. Trump could have been replaced by literally a lookalike that make it generic. A lot of fictional media make this politician or this other just generic for the sake of not making the product dated. Maybe you will do a bit of a caricature, but you keep the appearance generic and stuff like that. But no, unfortunately, this movie now will be dated pretty potentially even from this year onward. But even so, it feels as if the studio banked on trying to make people talk about the movie because of this. I agree with Jova that Trump's inclusion may be potentially the most memorable thing about the movie, but it's for the worst because while the story may not be super spectacular and the climax is admittedly lame, even the way the villain is defeated, seriously, I get it that rape as black comedy is possible, but I do believe this movie didn't manage to do it. But aside from those, it feels as if the studio just wanted to bang on, oh, look, here's Trump, here's the Orange Man bad, talk about this. And it's a shame because I think that is also partially what bogs down the movie, aside obviously for the sexual innuendos, because otherwise it would be just mediocre. And looking at the past record of the studio, I already seen like one or two of Cyberspark did one or other two reviews of these particular studio movies. I think Son of Bigfoot and I think The Wildlife. Then those didn't look too bad. Some of Bigfoot actually got a positive score, for example. So it's not like this studio is incapable of doing a potentially good product. It's just, I guess, we beat too much from what we could chew. But as for
funny.
Well, anyone can buy Jova, not just dogs.
Yeah, but it's with dogs that people tend to make.
As for the American dub, it's serviceable. Sometimes it tries a bit too hard, but I don't mind. I still believe that the solution that I proposed, having only the American character being voiced by American voice actors and the British character being voiced by British people, should have been the optimal one, more like a homogenic thing. I know it's a bit complicated because there's a lot of companies that have to forge contracts together, and it can be a bit complicated. But for a product that changes, that mixes, these nationalities in this kind of way, the Tekken approach should have been the standards, the gold standards to respect in that kind of sense. Even so, just have an English speaking person, but with an accent reflecting the language in that kind of sense, which is, to be fair, stuff that the American dub does by having most of the British character having a British accent of some kind. So, like I said, overall mediocre, not spectacular, but it didn't deserve its ones and twos that I saw on the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Next.
Pedro?
All right. This was a thing, I guess. I don't really understand what this movie. Okay. By the time we get to the halfway point, it finally picks up plot and sticks with it for the most part. But throughout the first half, well, like the first 30 minutes, to be fair, I had no idea what the fuck this movie was even doing. It's like they knew that their plot was simple and didn't even fill the 90-minute, the not even 90, 85-minute runtime. So we go through a lot of unnecessary tours, because like I said, during the first 40 minutes, this thing is jumping from scene to scene in such an erratic pacing, and with no need to. Like, I think here's the thing. I get it. You wanted to have a catalyst for getting Rex outside of the palace. I get that, but I still think you could have found a better way to do this without involving Donald Trump's satire that is pointless and, like the other said, subdued and ends up going nowhere. Instead of having something like this, have something where, okay, how about this? Don't have the other two dogs. It's not like they do much of anything anyway. Instead, have only Rex and what was the other one? The evil one?
Charlie?
Charlie. Have just Rex and Charlie, and properly focus, like the first 15 minutes, establishing how jealous, maybe establish some kind of backstory between the two of them to properly fuel the enemy ship, something like that. Like, and I would argue that probably would have dealt for a more memorable and stronger beginning, and it would have allowed for a tighter narrative, and they would have got that way. Then you get to the part where he gets he loses himself, and then he gets into the pound, and then we go from there.
On the basis of Rotten Tomatoes, would you say this movie earned its 0% Rotten Tomatoes rating?
Like we've talked about, that just means that no one actually.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Do you think it?
Well, I can give you a bit more context onto those. They seem to be slightly divided. Some liked Trump's inclusions, others didn't at all, and used that as their catalyst of their judgment upon the movie. But it seems it's for the major criticism as being things that we noticed, like the sexual innuendos, for example.
Like I said, like it's okay. A 0%, like. That reputation is it. Okay, how about this?
Dingo Pictures movie deserve at 0%, not really this one.
No, I'm hold on. I'm getting.
Sorry.
I'll circumvent around it in a way that makes sense. The reputation of a movie with 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a horrible reputation that few movies have. No, this movie doesn't deserve that reputation. To be honest, it's like Teo said. It's for the most part harmless, and it's just kind of confusing more than annoying or even painful to watch. Really, it's just kind of baffling. More like that's because the choices can be very weird, and the writing in general is not good. Like, the jokes don't really land. The movie doesn't have any wit to it. There's pop culture references here and there that feel out of place to me. Like the pop culture, the Rocky parody that they had, that would have made more sense in a more. I think this movie would have worked better if they just embraced the silliness and just went over the top cartoony humor.
I think the reference that works the best is the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest reference with the big dog, who doesn't talk much, who's named Chief.
Yeah,
like, that one actually did feel like it worked.
Yeah. No, I think. Again, that's exactly it. And those jokes would have landed even better if the movie just fully embraced itself as a silly, over-the-top comedy. That's what it should have done. Like something like akin to Hercules, let's say. Yes, Hercules still has its own story and character arc for Hercules and stuff like that, yes, but was primarily an over-the-top comedy. And it was all and as a result, the jokes, it allowed for the jokes to land a lot better. This movie, on the other hand, doesn't quite go for that, and as a result, the pop culture references don't really feel like they belong. You know, because this movie is kind of trying to go for the Pixar style, but at the same time have pop culture references, which is something that Pixar consciously do not do outside of certain exceptions.
I was about to say, are we forgetting Cars too?
Well, Jova, there's a reason people don't like.
That was a bad movie. It doesn't count.
No. Okay. To be fair, no. To Jova's fairness, there are even in the good there are a couple moments even in good movies where Pixar did make pop culture references, but it was very, like, for example in Toy Story 2 where they make the iconic "I am your father" reference, but that reference made sense even within the context of that story.
Pretty much.
It was a brilliant example of a pop culture reference that makes sense. Whereas the pop culture references in this don't feel organic. You know, they're just there because pop culture references. That's funny. You know, they don't feel organic. They don't feel they're like incorporated in the context of the scene. They're just there because we're trying to prevent the adults in the audience from getting bored. And that's the problem. This movie the writing lacks any sort of wit at all. And as a result, the humor doesn't land at all. The story is by the numbers, so by the freaking numbers. By the time you get to the and Shiroi even confirmed it for me. By the time we get to the pound, I kind of called most of the plot, and yeah, I was right. The dogs all ended up living in the palace, like I called at the 40-minute mark. So yeah, the fact that I can call your ending halfway through the movie, yeah, that's a problem movie. Yeah. So yeah, but the by the numbers plot, the underdeveloped characters, it just makes for a very movie. This happened. This movie is a film fart. It happens. It's somewhat unpleasant, but you forget about it immediately after you watch it.
Somewhat unpleasant or somewhat pleasant, depending on your spectrum.
Yeah, like in South Park.
It's a thing that exists. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't annoy me. It doesn't even bore me. It's just kind of it's there. It's literally.
It kept our attention for over an hour. Well done.
Yeah. So
that's the bare minimum, but well done.
Actually, Joel brings up a good point. Yeah, this is the kind of movie you put in to keep your kids quiet for 85 minutes, basically,
without punishing them.
Yeah, without necessarily punishing them. If they wanted to punish them, they would put on
Leo the Lion,
Alibaba and the Gold Raiders.
Sure. I was gonna go with Faraday, but yeah, that's a
any good type of
punishment.
Wait. Okay, what same parent shows their kid Faraday? I gotta know.
Well, that's what I said. A parent who wants to punish and traumatize their kids for life.
Emphasis on traumatized.
The ultimate irony, Jova, a veterinarian.
It's like, hey, Cindy, if you don't train the cat, this is what's going to happen to her. Shows them Faraday.
So is everyone given the fourth review?
Actually, Shiro is missing.
Finale is the birthday girl.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Think of it like this, Joe. It's like if I trap Teo in a room and you're like, okay, you either give me the combination of you give me all your money, I will play this. I play for a Fairfence Seraph on constant loop.
Oh,
it's
boy.
just
So you give it.
Stop, please, I beg you.
Exactly. See, it's just.
Except for, sorry, go ahead.
It's just something so. It's so by the numbers and not at all okay. I wouldn't even mind it by the numbers plot if the comedy was funny, which I've already explained, it doesn't work because the movie can't quite pick a style. It wants to have the Pixar style of character-driven comedy, but also have pop culture references.
It's kind of a shame because the movie had something of a promising start with, the opening that actually got us introduced to the characters without any dialogue for the first few minutes.
Mm-hmm. You don't get me wrong, you can have both. Like I said, Toy Story 2 proved that you can have a movie like that with even pop culture reference, but you have to be very careful about how you implement those pop culture references. You can't just shove them in there because. You have to be careful about how you incorporate them in the story. And this movie doesn't throw caution to the wind and just inserted them in there because, and that's the main reason why they don't land as well as they could.
How ironic is it that the best reference is probably the only one whose name they didn't blurt out right there and then with the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest one.
Mm-hmm. As a result, this is just a very confusing bad It's like a bad movie, but it's not I'm saying it's technically a bad movie, but it's not by saying it's a bad movie, I'm implying that I hated it or something, but no, I didn't. It's just that it's a badly made movie that's mostly just confusing to watch, if that makes any sense.
God, I know there's a good metaphor for this. It's like that student that technically did a bad job, but at the same moment, you can't help but think about, they tried to the point where it evens out to...
So Bart Simpson in Bart Gets an Answer.
Yeah, when he was actually trying to graduate.
So yeah, this movie was a thing That's the best thing I can say about it. It's a thing that exists, and whatever. I'm just going to go like Jeremy
Forget
Dunn
in
said,
T-minus.
on T-minus seconds. Yes, exactly.
No
Already
alcohol
forgot.
required.
Okay, that's about it. Shiroi, close us out.
All right, but before that, I was just about to say what you said about Tio and Fairy Fencer, but all of the music is the trumpet theme.
Oh my god.
Which trumpet
Good.
theme?
Outside in my note that you seem to be even more sadistic than Pedro.
It's always the quiet ones,
I like to
Tio.
add a little bit more.
It's always the
Extra.
quiet ones.
God.
Well, yeah, yeah, this was definitely a thing. It was more so baffling to me with some of the weird references and also random arson at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, this dog really wants that role, Jesus.
I'll say he's willing to commit cold-blooded murder with fire for it.
Multiple times.
I'm almost surprised
Yeah.
he didn't make that joke.
But, yeah, the plot is predictable, but I kind of just saw this, as you guys said, it's just one of those movies to pass the time. I don't, I don't wish for my time back after seeing it, but it's like, okay, I've seen it. I don't really need to see it again, although this is my second time watching the movie. But the voice acting on our side anyway, because I haven't heard anything aside from the snippets that were in Saber's Box review. I haven't heard any of the voices to an extent. So
The American ones.
Yeah, the American ones. Like over here, the voice acting is actually very good. They put in a lot of effort for it. All things considered.
Yeah, I don't think we've mentioned this, but allow me to add to that the American voice acting is pretty fine as well. It works. I don't really have any complaints.
I did mention in my final thoughts.
Yeah, like I said.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd like to add that still. Like again, I don't have a problem with the American voice acting. It works. It's fine. Every actor basically fits. Basically, it doesn't. I don't really have any complaints about the voice acting. Carry on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the music fit its purpose. It's nothing amazing, but it went well with what was shown.
Even the musical
The animation
number.
wasn't that. Sorry?
I said even the musical number.
Andrade basically did the necessary to make a score that's not embarrassing and to get his paycheck.
That's weird because I agree. I will say well that in the intro, just for that mini intro sequence alone, the one with as in any narration or speaking roles at all, the music is probably at its best in order to try to be whimsy.
That's the best scene in the movie, truly.
Which one?
The intro, the opening.
Oh,
yeah, I was about to say the movie starts off. Pedro's right in that the movie is erratic. I was still able to follow it perfectly fine, but you don't spend a lot of time with any of the characters. So the intro is probably the most
not just
out thing, I guess, and it's technically just a time skip sequence.
Not just the characters. It's not even just the characters, Shiroi. The places. Like the first 30 minutes, we go from place to place to place to place, and it's so. And it goes by quickly.
And even so, the movie doesn't really have that many places now that you think about it.
You know what?
It has like two.
You know that I think about. Theo mentioned this earlier. Flushed Away is basically this movie's concept and a lot better.
I never got a chance to see that one.
Oh, I have to show you that movie at some point. I consider it one of Aardman's best
works. Sir, Ian McKellen has a problem. That's worth the entire movie.
If I remember correctly, Shiroi, didn't you enjoy the 2009 Astro Boy movie like I did?
Yes, I did.
It's from the same director, and that movie's also pretty good. Go
ahead. Yeah, the animation isn't that bad either for a budget movie. It actually looks I mean, stylistically, it looks pretty genetic, but it seems to flow pretty well from what I can see anyway.
Yeah, you can definitely believe that there was effort put into this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I still argue that one or two of the characters look less polished than the others, but I guess it was inevitable.
Budget limitations, most likely.
Yeah, because what did you say, Dwibs? Was it like 20 million?
20 million, yeah.
Yeah. There was something else I was going to say, but I can't actually remember.
You were
The climax?
talking about the animation and how smooth it was?
Nah, after that.
The pacing?
Climax,
mean-
maybe?
The
The
pacing?
climax, maybe?
Nah. It was it was something. I mean, that's quite a punishment, I guess. Awkward, to say the least.
I'm sure the children are going to be such beautiful pups.
Again, it's like I said, the reason that, again, you can do dark humor fine. Unlike, it just depends on how you do it. George of the Jungle kind of had the same thing for the villain. The first movie, not the second one. The first movie actually kind of had basically the exact same punishment for the villain, except he did it with much better comedic timing. And again, George of the Jungle is a surreal, completely balls to the wall, fourth wall breaking comedy. The fourth wall literally does not exist in that movie. They never even talks to the characters. And
There's one example, there's one example, Pedro, that Mr. Enter brings up constantly is one episode of the Powerpuff Girls where this happens to Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, that too. Again, that works because Powerpuff Girls is a very over-the-top cartoon with a lot of over-the-top comedy. This movie, on the other hand, if it had that, it would be a lot better. If it went full Cartoon Network, it would have been way better. The jokes would have landed a lot better. That's the basic problem with this movie. It doesn't quite know what style it wants to be.
Mm-hmm. No, I'd agree. And I did remember what I was going to say since you brought it up, Pedro. In terms of, like, I know the movie I'm about to mention is a musical anyway, but as far as musicals, as far as musical numbers that are completely random go, Frozen 2 had a much, much better one.
Well, Frozen 2 was actually a musical.
No, I mean, there's a specific number that doesn't quite fit, and it's amazing anyway.
Yeah, I know which one she's talking
You
about.
know exactly which one I'm referring to.
The 80s one.
Oh, no, but that's the thing. I love that one, though.
Oh, no, I love that one. No, I'm just saying it's completely random compared to the rest of the movie, and it just works so much better than the one here. And I get the point that the one here was supposed to be bad, but to bring up a quote that I've seen from a long time ago, like, deliberately bad can still be bad. So... Mm-hmm. And this was one of those times. So...
It also helps that the song in this movie is not really good, whereas that song in Frozen 2 was actually really freaking good. So it helps. So that helps. Like, even if it technically doesn't fit, who cares, really?
No, I know that was the point. That was kind of the point I was getting at. But it's like this one just doesn't work at all. Yeah.
This movie doesn't have the benefit of having the Lopez couple.
Yeah. So. And I'm done. I'll try to find a better movie next year. If not, then it'll be Chicken Little. I don't know.
Oh, what fun!
Why didn't you pick Bolt? There you go. That's a dog movie.
I could pick Bolt. That one at least has a cat in it, like I said.
Exactly. There's a dog and a cat in it as the main characters, and it's a Disney good movie. There you go.
It is a lovely movie. Okay, fine.
We'll see what her pick will be for her birthday next year, folks.
Yeah.
Chicken Little might be the Halloween pick. I don't know.
So we'll see you in 365 days from now.
All right. See you.
See ya.
See you then.